cooking some kale and mushrooms for the K&M quesadilla and the mushroom taco right now. Mushrooms are tricky to cook. The hardest thing about cooking mushrooms is not doing anything. When I spread these out, they were touching, they were one layer, and I didn't put any salt on them. You have to cook them unseasoned in the beginning or they won't sear, because the salt makes them release all their liquid, all their water. They're basically water balloons. So I've let them cook, they've shrunk, there's space in between them, and what we're looking for is we're looking for a sear on the bottom. See that nice, rich, nutty brown color? See what we got over here? That's the type of color you're looking for before you make the flip. So at this point, and they're all kind of like that, you know? See that? Nice, beautiful color. So that's a sear on one side. That's going to give you the flavor you need. And we're going to harness them actually losing their liquid to cook our kale. Got a little bit of grill salt. As soon as I put the grill salt on, which is the seasoning that the mushrooms need, I'm going to put the salt on it. It's going to react to the heat. You're going to see the steam start coming up. That's because the water balloon has burst at this point. So I'm going to give them a little. Give them a little stir. See how nice that color is? Check out that. That's exactly what you're looking for. Give them a little scrape, and I put down a nice thin layer of oil when I put down the mushrooms. So now they're being exposed to heat on all sides. They're being exposed to salt. That's going to make them steam, and then I'm going to use that steam to cook the kale. So the kale goes right on top of the mushrooms. That's going to actually hold in the heat on the mushrooms a little bit, and the steam from the mushrooms is going to cook the kale. It's a 2-for-1. You get them both. And I'm going to get them into a nice little pile, cover it with kale. So the mushrooms keep the kale from burning because they're keeping them off the flat top. The steam from the mushrooms is cooking the kale, and what you want is you just want the kale to just turn green. I'm going to go grab a piece of parchment paper to put on onto my coming in hot while you're watching that turn green. I'm going to put a little parchment paper on my sheet pan. The sheet pan is going to be where we spread this out and cool it, because we're going to keep it in the drawer, skip it across the flat top when it needs to be put into either a taco or a quesadilla, warm it up without overcooking it, and then use it. But this is the cooking process. You can see right there, your kale's starting to turn a nice dark green. You can see all the steam coming up off it. It's cooking perfectly, and it does take a minute. The important thing is, and the thing to remember is, do not mess with your mushrooms on that first stage. Let them just sit there. It's going to be longer than you want to cook it, longer than you think you should cook it. But practice getting that nice color on one side. That's going to be the flavor you need for the mushrooms. Okay, we're seeing this. We're seeing the kale kind of wilt a little bit, get flat. We're seeing it change color to dark green. When it's about here, we're seeing it mostly being dark green. We're going to give it one last toss. That's going to finish the cooking of the kale. That's going to get the mushroom flavor all over the kale. Then we're going to pull it and get it into the fridge to cool, and then we can put it into our mise en place or into our drawer to use for making our menu items. Okay, giving it a little toss. Kale is a very hardy green. It's going to eat your salt. At this point, I'm going to give it another little bit of that grill salt. Give it another little toss. See how we got. See how that's a really just beautiful bright green. That's what we're going for. If you can hit that on the money, that's going to give you what you need to serve. You're going to do this probably twice a day, probably once at the beginning of each shift. And what we just cooked just now will probably give you a nice, solid, overflowing 6-spoon. And until you get some more guests in, this will probably do for the next month and a half. You should be able to cook this much twice a day. But again, that's what we're looking for. There it is, going into the fridge. That's your kale and mushroom mix. It's beautiful. It's exactly what we want. It's going to cool off nicely. It'll be great when you reheat it. It'll stay green and it'll taste good in your menu items.